Today we have some people from some group of companies in order to give you some inputs which I think will be valuable to all of you. First of all, let me introduce Mr. Shorupan Tirkasbadi, CEO, Nvest Group of Companies, Toronto, Canada. And he is also the CEO of Global Exchange Company. Started 2 years back. Now he is 23 years old and he has achieved great milestones in just 2 or 3 years. He also established Nvest Bank, the world's first crypto bank, in 2017, having branches in many countries of the world, including India. Along with him, we have his team members, particularly Sal Khan. He is the president of Client Success. On behalf of our Abdul Hakeem College of Engineering and Technology, we welcome them all to our institution. We are immensely pleased to have their presence, and I request them to take over the session now. Thank you very much.
Good morning, students. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாமே சார் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணாரு. See, actually he is a shop hand, Shorupan Prakashpati. இவர் வந்து டொரண்டோ, born and bought வந்து டொராண்டோ, 23 years old, வெறும் 23 வயசு தான் ஆகுது. இன்றைக்கி ஒரு கம்பெனியோட ஓனர். இவர் பிளாக் செயின் கம்பெனியோட சிஇஓ. அண்ட் மிஸ்டர் சால்கான், இவரும் கனடா. இவர் வந்து ஜிஎக்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்மளுடைய இன்னொரு வெப்சைட் இருக்குது, அதோட ப்ரொப்ரைட்டர் மாதிரி. அண்ட் ஈஸ் மிஸ்டர் ஏரியல், ஈஸ் ஃப்ரம் கனடா, ஈஸ் ஆர் ஷொரூபன் ஃப்ரெண்ட். இன்றைக்கி செஷன் என்ன அப்படின்னு நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறோம் அப்படின்னா, தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு இந்த பிளாக் செயின் வந்து ரொம்ப புதுசு. நம்ம எல்லா டெக்னாலஜியும் பார்த்துருப்போம், ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட், பைத்தான், C++, இந்த எல்லா டெக்னாலஜியும் நம்ம பார்த்துருப்போம். ஆனால் நமக்கு பிளாக் செயின்ற டெக்னாலஜி ரொம்ப புதுசு. இப்போ தான் இந்தியாவில் புதுசாக வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ இதை பற்றி நம்ம தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு கொண்டு வரணுன்ற ஒரு பிளானோடு தான் நாங்கள் இங்கே எடுத்துகிட்டு வந்திருக்கோம். நாங்கள் போயிட்டு காதர் சார்கிட்ட மீட் பண்ணோம். காதர் சார்கிட்ட பேசும்போது, ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி பிளாக் செயினை நாங்கள் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணலான் இருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொன்னோம். உடனே அவங்க அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் 1.5 hour எல்லாமே வந்து பிளாக் செயினை பற்றின ஃபுல் டீட்டெயில்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கும். ஸோ லிசன் இட். யூ வில் லிசன், யூ கேன் டேக் அ மோர் aware of blockchain. Thank you. I'll call Mr. Shafan Salkan. Sir.
Good morning. We really appreciate you guys hosting us, and we're looking forward to sharing with you guys the vision for the future. I know you guys are excited to see me, so try to listen because we're going to be sharing some things that I think will impact not just you and your career, but all of India And so the future of your nation is something that we're here to discuss. So more than what my name is or the importance of that, I think my story of how I was born in a mud house in Bangladesh and then was given the opportunity to go to a first world country, the land of the opportunity, which is United States, and then I came back to a developing country. That's the story that I wanted to share with you guys. Why did I leave such a wonderful, opportunistic environment to come back to a nation that is still trying to find their identity, find their contribution to the world? And it's because America is no longer the only land of opportunity. Rather, your living room or wherever you have Wi-Fi is now the land of opportunity. With the right skill set, which you guys are very technical, you guys have the skill set, but you need to apply it to an industry that is based in the future, not in the past or the present. And that's what we're here to share. The information is the vision for the future. Just as Sharpen has touched my life, Ariel's life, and that's why we have come from first world countries to participate in the opportunity and the vision of the world that he is creating. I think you too will come to see something that you like that causes you to participate in what we are doing. The thing is, I have a very, very soft heart for India because there is so much talent, there's so much intelligence here, but the country is starving for opportunity or avenues in which that intelligence can be used to impact the world. When the internet was first born, you have the US, which was very privileged in their timing, in their technology to best take advantage of it. So when we look at the internet companies that have shaped the world, like Facebook, like Google, like Airbnb and Uber and Amazon, they were just the byproduct of having the right opportunities at the right time. Now, because India has missed that window of opportunity, they are being the support, the outsource of the world. I consider that to be an insult because you guys are brilliant. And although that was nothing that you guys did intentionally or nothing that was something you could have controlled, now we are in the next wave of technological advancement that will do more to change the world than the internet has done. And that is what Sharpen is here to explain to you, is how the next wave of innovation that you can do with the skill set that we are providing from your living room, from wherever you have, just adding on to the skill set that you guys have already developed. So, I was given a very beautiful life in a first world country, but when I saw the vision, when I spoke to Sharpen the first time, I knew that he was the type of person that would reshape the world. And when you meet someone like that, you either get out of their way because they're going to do this with or without you, you stand by and watch, or if you're wise, you find a way to participate. And I think today he's going to plant the seed in your mind that there is something to this new world of innovation that you can participate in. And if you grew up in an India that you did not like because there were corruption, there were problems that you wish somebody would fix, you now can participate in that solution. And that's what we're gifting, is not just a career, but the ability to reshape India and give your future kids a reality that you did not have. And with that, I want to introduce Sharpen, the CEO of Invest and GX Global Exchange. Oh, did I mention he's 23 years old?
All right.
Yeah, because I hate standing on stage. That's honestly the reason. I'll just walk around. So, can everyone hear me? Fabulous. Let me just get a sense of life in this room. Who here has a pulse? Maybe I didn't repeat that. The joke. Who here is clear as to why they are here today? No. Great. Whose teacher has kidnapped them and forced them to come here? That is what I suspected. So, that makes a bunch of us that were put in this room, and for the next 1 hour, hopefully, we can get to know each other. Hopefully, I can share something with you guys that sparks your interest. So let me just start off by giving you some housekeeping. Number one, I talk fast. I'm sorry. It is a bad skill I've developed by speaking too much. So if at any given point I say something too quickly, please let me know and I will repeat myself. Number two, I speak with a lot of technical jargon, like computer science slang. So if you guys miss that, don't feel bad, just let me repeat it. And number three, I walk around a lot. Like I might just come and sit beside you in that chair. So be prepared for a friendly visit from me. With that being said, I want to know who's in the room. Is this final year students? Third year. So you guys are all third year. So next year you have one last year before you enter into the workforce. And it's all computer science? Communications and computer science, okay. So who's computer science? Whose degree is in computer science? Nice. And who's in, what's the other one? Communications? ECE. Oh, wow, that's the charismatic crowd. Okay, wait, who's in IT? Oh, that is the charismatic crowd. Okay, so who speaks Tamil as their first language? Wow. This is one of those times I wish I knew it. So let me tell you a funny story about me. I actually speak really bad Tamil. My parents were born in Sri Lanka, which is like an island that speaks Tamil. But unfortunately, I never learned it because I just spoke English my whole life. But maybe, if Ganeshan is lucky, I will say some words in Tamil, which would be really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Okay, so we got some IT students, we got electronics, and we got computer science. Fine. Who here has heard about the blockchain? One person, wow. He deserves a reward for putting up his hand like that. Who here has heard about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies? Nobody. Lovely. Don't worry, I got this. Don't worry, relax. Calm down. Who here has heard the word artificial intelligence? Okay, we got some people in the back. Seems like that one guy in the back, he's doing really well. Okay, so let me give you some context. In 1996, wait, who here was born after 1996? Everyone? Should be, right? Everyone should be born after 1996. So in 1996, the world was changing. So I want you guys to listen carefully to this. The world changed a couple times because of communication. You could look throughout history in every country and analyze where communication systems had an impact. The invention of language had a huge impact on this civilization. The invention of literature, writing, had a tremendous impact. Then you came to things like the telegraph. Then you went to the telephone. And in 1996, the world was playing around with a new format of communication. Does anyone know what that was? Yes, it's called the internet. It became pretty popular. Who knows? This is a really good, I'll give someone, I give a lot of prizes, by the way. So if you participate, you'll get free Bitcoin. Just wait. Not one. I know. Just later on, take out your phone and type in 1 Bitcoin to rupees, and you'll see that today's Bitcoin is what? 700,000 rupees? 7 lakhs? I'm not going to give you one. I'm going to give you a little bit, just to be clear. But come and see me. Whoever answers a question, Ganeshan, just keep track of who's answering questions. They have to come and see me, and I will give them some free coins. Okay. Who knows why the internet was invented? I'll repeat my question. Who knows why, not how, why the internet was invented? Na 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 na. It's like Jeopardy, Indian Jeopardy. Any answers? Okay, maybe I should talk in. Oh, there we go. Sir, stand up, please. You're such a brave man. Can we give him a round of applause? Okay, everyone quiet down, let him speak. Communication. Okay, do you want to elaborate? Wow. Guys, I thought there was like no chance anyone would get the answer to that question, but that is 150% correct. Give him another round of applause. Wow. Okay, let me explain. Oh, go ahead. Oh, you're such a nice Samaritan, giving his friend credit. Give his friend a round of applause. Very cool, very cool. Come see me after, Ganeshan. Make sure you remember them. All right, you can take a seat. So, let me give you the story. There was something called the Cold War. It was between the United States and the Soviet Union. Today it's called Russia. This happened in the late 60s. Late 60s. Just as actually India was achieving independence, there was a Cold War happening. The reason they called it cold is because there wasn't actually a war. It was a conceptual war, a war of ideas between a capitalistic country and what was at the time the greatest socialist country. And in that war, everyone was afraid of nuclear weapons. Every country. If you ask your grandparents or anyone, they'll remember nuclear weapon testing, because at any time you could have been nuked. And so the United States wanted to create a communication system that would survive if they were bombed by a nuclear weapon. And so they hired two people, Vince Cerf and Robert Kahn. Those are the two people hired by the US government to investigate this new communications channel in the late 70s. And these two people went to work for almost a decade, putting together the first version of the ARPANET. At the time, it wasn't called the Ethernet. Internet, sorry. Later became called the Ethernet, then Internet. And so, they had discovered that using a network protocol, you can relay packets. And that is how the internet was, that was why the internet was conceived. Why am I telling you that story? Today, every single person in this room is using the internet. And what are you using the internet for? Facebook, Amazon, Uber, Spotify, watching movies, talking to your friends. Do any of you think about what the reason that that communications platform was enabled? No. And the reason that that's important is because technologies, when they're being conceived, have no idea. The creator has no idea. The users have no idea what the future implications of that technology are going to be. Those guys, when they were architecting the internet, had no clue that less than 40 years, almost 3/4 of the entire world's population would be using it for things like TikTok. They had no idea. And that is why it is important as engineers, as people who are going to shape tomorrow, for you to appreciate new technologies. Because we don't know what they're going to do yet. Just like the creators of the internet had no idea. So, my question when I asked you, do you know what blockchain is? Or do you know what artificial intelligence is not for me to find out how smart you are or how much you've researched. It's about me finding out how much you care. What is it that you are paying attention to? Because, let me bring you back to 1996. I was born in 1996. I think it's the best year ever. Jokes. So, in 1996, in a very small town in Western California called San Francisco, there were a couple companies who had seen what the internet was doing for military. And they said, how can we use this to build platforms, to build applications? And in 4 years, between 1996 and 2000, those companies released a series of apps, products, network protocols, websites. And over the next 20 years, from 2000 to 2020, those companies took over the world. We're talking about Amazon, Google, later Facebook, Netflix, Cisco, etc. All of that happened in a very short period of time in the late 1990s. And the next 20 years was spent manifesting that vision. Okay, what year is it today? What year? It just turned New Year. What year is it? 2020. My hypothesis, I could be wrong, is that from 2016 to 2020, that happened again. But we don't know. Because in 2000, nobody knew what Amazon was. Nobody knew well, Facebook wasn't even invented. Nobody knew what Google was, etc. That was a very small percentage of people who were paying attention. Just like in 2020, a very small percentage of people are paying attention to blockchain. But I believe, and there's much evidence to support me on this, that the entire IT world is being reshaped. And you guys have no idea. Not just you, most university students have no idea. Not just university students, most professionals working for information technology companies have no idea. Just like between 1996 and 2000, if you were working for AT&T or Sprint, you would have never thought that the internet would have done anything. And you know where all those people are today? Unemployed. So the moral of this story is, how do you position yourself to take advantage of the next 20 years? It is 2020. Do you remember 2010? That was 10 years ago. That 2010 was 10 years ago. That should make you feel very old, because that means 10 years just went by very quickly. And just like 10 years went by very quickly, another 10 years is going to go by. And another 10 years will go by. And before you know it, your kids will be sitting in this chair. And a younger version of me will be speaking to them. And he will be talking about some other technology. And he will be explaining to them, hey, remember the blockchain in 2020? It's going to be, this new technology is going to be bigger than the blockchain. History has a funny way of repeating itself. Very funny way. It's almost scary. So the point of today's, speech, I don't even like to call it that because I don't really like giving speeches, is to make you guys care to go home and do some research. As an engineer, if you follow the scientific method, you shouldn't believe anything I'm saying. You must assume everything I'm saying is wrong until you go home and you substantiate that with evidence. But if you fail to go home and do that, you will be learning or you will be graduating next year without the skills required for the next 20 years. Let me give you an example. What is the most popular programming language for the web, for browsers? JavaScript. JavaScript. Does anyone know what year JavaScript came out? It's very recent, relatively speaking. Anyone? Okay, we'll keep that on pause. Someone smart enough, go on your phone, go on Google, check it out. JavaScript enabled all of you guys to build web applications. Is that correct? Correct. How many of you know JavaScript proficiently? Anyone? Like out of 10, you would say you're 8 or more. Yes, very few. Don't worry, don't feel bad. Many people don't. The reason I'm saying that is because in 2020, JavaScript, if you're going to work in any web technologies, is almost mandatory. Do you know why I know that? Because I hire hundreds of developers, and the first question I ask them is, how well do you know JavaScript? And I don't even need to ask them anything further. If they have proficiency in JavaScript, then they will continue down the pipeline. Okay, imagine, just for 1 second, you learned JavaScript the year it came out, when nobody was using JavaScript. Nobody was using it. Steve Jobs laughed when JavaScript first came out. He said, this will never be in an Apple product, in a browser, in a Safari. Well, he was terribly wrong about that. If you had learned JavaScript when it first came out, you would be at the top 0.001% of income earners in IT. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Now, for you to have learned it back then, you would have needed some special information. Someone would have had to love you enough to grab you and say, listen, you must learn JavaScript. I know you think it's stupid, but you must learn it. And you would have said, nobody uses JavaScript. And that person would have said, I don't care, just learn it. And unless you got that message, you would not have learned it. That is why still in 2020, you are learning legacy languages like C and Java. And I would love to know how many companies are looking for C and Java. We'll leave that to the side. But I am telling you, the biggest differentiator in your career is not intelligence. It has nothing to do with what scores you got on tomorrow's test. The biggest differentiator in your career, the thing that's going to dictate all the money you make or you don't make, is what skills you learn. Not how good you are. It's what skills you learn. The 100th best JavaScript developer in this room will do better than the best Java programmer in this room. And that is the cold, hard reality about shaping your professional career. So what I'm trying to tell you is this is recorded for today's date. I don't know, it's in January 8th or something, January 7th? What's today's date? 8th, yeah. Just remember that on January 8th, 2020, some guy did come and tell you that you must learn about the blockchain. And when you don't listen, you will remember this video because it's going on YouTube. Trust me when I say this. The whole world is watching only 2 technologies. Not many, only 2. Machine learning, artificial intelligence is one. And the other one is the blockchain. If you think I'm joking, just take out your phone later on and type in, I don't know, Chennai blockchain developer jobs. And tell me how many vacancies there are. And then tell me what type of companies are hiring for that job. Do you think it's startups like myself who are hiring blockchain developers? Absolutely not. It is Bank of America and Wipro and Infosys and IBM and every major bank, every information technology company, every single government is now developing some system based on blockchain technology. And you know what they don't have? Engineers. They have none. Do you know why I know that? Because I have traveled the world, literally 50 countries in the last 2 years looking for engineers. Whether you're talking about the United Kingdom or Poland or India or China or America, I have looked far and wide and I have found nothing. Because just like you, most people don't even know about it. And so we set out on a mission when I first got to India, which was last year. And I said, we are going to raise awareness for this technology. We don't care if you learn it from us, or if you learn it from YouTube, or if you learn it from udemy.com, or if you learn it from just playing around with it on your terminal. I assure you, it will be the greatest decision your career has ever seen. You will be, within months, top 0.001%. Not 1%, not 0.1%, 0.001% of qualified IT professionals, because you have possessed a skill that most people don't even know about. It's like you're learning how to drive a car when most people don't know what a car is. And what am I asking you to do? I am not asking you to spend 1 rupee. I am not asking you to do anything except go and intoxicate yourself with this concept of the blockchain. Now, that's my rant on why it's important to learn blockchain. Let me tell you what it is. It's very simple. Blockchain is nothing but a database. Who here knows what a database is? I hope everybody. Thank you. Can someone explain what a traditional MySQL database does? Please, there's money in it for you. Put up your hand. Smart contestants. Opportunists of Crypto Broker Academy. Who wants to explain what a database does? Normal database. Anybody? Oh, here we go. What is it? She's saying it stores information. Is that correct? Does everyone agree with her? Fine. What's the most popular database in the world? SQL. Who owns SQL? Does anyone know? Company that owns SQL? Oracle, right? Oracle bought SQL from the founder when it was an open source project. So, let me ask you a question. Do you know what makes SQL very good? I swear to God, all of your resumes are going to say, I know SQL. So you better know the answer to this question. What makes SQL good? Why does every company, every hospital, every government use SQL? Stored in online? Okay, that's one answer. It is a relational database structure. Do you know what that means? Relational database structure, RDS. SQL is very fast. Because of the way that it's built, it is very, very fast. Not only is it fast, it's very easy to learn, as you probably learned it very quickly. Yes or no? It didn't take years for you to understand SQL. It was built in such a way. So SQL is very fast, it's easy to learn, and it's used by everybody. So why would you change it? Why would you create another version of a database like what we call a blockchain. You got it. Can you say that again? For security. Well, does that mean SQL is not secure? No. No. Secure it using different security parameters. But what SQL isn't is it's not immutable. Immutable. This is the most important word in computer science, in my opinion. IMMUTABLE. I wish I knew how to say that in Tamil. That would have been like very useful. Immutable means if me and him are both using the database, he cannot change it without me knowing. And I cannot change it without him knowing. That is what immutable means. Every single website, every app, every computer system, every airport, every election, every hospital is currently running a non-immutable system. Do you understand what that means? That means in any of those servers, there is one party that controls all of the data in the database. When you use Facebook.com, who has access to the server? Facebook.com. Have you ever seen Facebook's server? Nope, and you will never see it in your life. Do you know why? Is it not your pictures? Is it not your videos? Is it not your posts? Is it not what you did yesterday that you put on Facebook? But for some reason, you have no access to that data. I will tell you why. Because the current internet landscape is one that was built off of centralized databases. The next generation internet landscape will be built off of this concept of a virtual database. One, a decentralized database. A decentralized database is where the whole data is stored on his computer and on my computer and on her computer and every other participant in that network protocol. Do you know what that means? That means it's going to be very slow. Because if the server has to gauge so many different pieces of hardware to pull pieces of data, things get very slow. That is why, and it's very expensive, all of those databases. That is why no company or no government or no hospital is currently using it, because it's expensive and slow. But let me ask you a question. In the case of Facebook, and we all use Facebook, right? I hope, or I assume. If you don't use Facebook, you probably use WhatsApp. Same thing. They're all the same company. So, in the case of Facebook, you don't really care if Facebook deletes one of your posts. That's not going to hurt your life, right? It's not going to make you cry. Hopefully. I actually don't know that to be true, but hopefully. If one of your WhatsApp messages that was sent at 10 a.m. gets changed to 11 a.m., that's not going to kill you. And so, when it comes to social networks, when it comes to communication systems, you are more comfortable with letting party X control all the data. Because what you want is speed. When I send him a WhatsApp, I want him to get it immediately. And you can only do that in a centralized database that Facebook controls. So we're all in agreement that social networks should be centralized databases like they are right now. Let me ask you a separate question. Is there any other product where security is more important than speed? Can you imagine one where security is more important than speed? What did you say? Money. This might be a good one. The systems that your banks are built on are all using centralized servers. Does that sound like a good idea? Well, it doesn't matter because that's the way it is. What that means is if I owned a bank and he's my customer and he deposits money, I have unilateral control to change that. When was the last time you walked into, what bank are you with? What's your bank? Okay, I'm not going to go with Federal. I'll go with HDFC, because in Bangalore, where we're headquartered, there's lots of HDFCs. When was the last time you walked into your HDFC and said, hey, can I see all my money? Who's done that? Nobody. Never, ever, 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 ever will you go into your bank and say, hey, bank, can you show me all of your money? Do you know why? Because if you did ask that, they can't show it to you. Because it does not exist. Because all monetary systems, not just in India, in every country, are built highly centralized, highly non-immutable computer systems. So now let me ask you a question. How much do you trust those banks? If you don't trust them, this should be very scary news. You better trust them a lot. Not just a lot, like a lot. So let's just say for 1 second, you do trust them. They're regulated, the government is watching, everything is great. And something goes wrong. Tell me what you're going to do. Yeah, you're going to try to call and complain. I will assure you that will get you nowhere. Do you know why? Because you have no control in that system. It is a computer science system that you are not a participant in. You are nothing but an observer. You are looking at numbers on a screen. That screen can say 2,000 rupees today. Tomorrow, with the click of a button, it can say 2 million rupees. Yes or no? How hard is it to change a number? Hello? Oh, yeah. How hard is it? Very simple. So then, that's one thing. Probably want a secure and immutable system so that if I'm the bank and he's the customer and he deposits money, if I'm going to change something, he should know. That sounds like a good idea, reasonable idea. Is there, put banking and money to the side, is there something else in your life where you want security? How about healthcare? Insurance, healthcare. You guys are all young, so you probably haven't got sick. But if you go to a hospital, you'll see a lot of sick people. And you know what all those sick people have in common? They have lots of healthcare records. Gigabytes and gigabytes of healthcare records on each person. And let me ask you a simple question. In this country or any country, how many times has a surgeon performed the wrong surgery? A lot. You would be very shocked to find out how loose your healthcare records are. Actually, they're probably still written on paper. They're probably not even in a DB yet. In healthcare, you also want sovereignty of your data. Data sovereignty is another word you should look into. Real estate, democracy. You could keep going down this list of things that should be immutable and secure and currently have no sense of immutability or security. The blockchain was created by a guy. Nobody knows who he is. Satoshi Nakamoto is the name of that guy. That is not his real name. That is a username that he created on some chat room on the internet. This is a guy that in 2008, or we don't know if he's a guy, he could be a girl, he could be a robot, he could be 50 people. We have no idea. To this date, we have no idea. Nakamoto, online guy, we don't know. We do know a couple things about him. He is an expert in cryptographic systems. If you read Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, if you read his thesis paper, It's 11 pages. It is the most important document you will read in your career. 11 pages where he writes out the computer science architecture for the blockchain, an immutable, peer-to-peer, decentralized money system. What people did not understand was that same system, using modern cryptographic hash functions, can be used to secure anything, not just money. Bitcoin is nothing compared to what the blockchain is going to do. Bitcoin is one app. Think about the blockchain as an app store. It's like Google Play Store. Bitcoin is one app. For the last 10 years, the whole world has only worried about Bitcoin. What they don't know is there are thousands of apps coming. Thousands. Built by developers like you. Developers, I know them very well. Some of them are young, some of them are old, some of them are American, some of them are Chinese, some of them are Indian, some of them are Russian. Nobody can control the ability for you to use a blockchain network. It is like TCP, it's the same effect that the internet routing system had. Now think about this for 1 second. In 2008, this random guy that nobody knows about released a piece of code, open source code. Do you know what I call that? Something that was never supposed to see the light of day. Who here does open source code? Who here contributes open source code? Any of you? None of you? Maybe one day you will. On the internet, millions of people write open source code. And most of them, nobody ever hears about because they're just code snippets contributed in a platform or an application. Satoshi Nakamoto wrote this code snippet. It was called the Bitcoin Core hash function. He released an 11-page paper. That was called the Bitcoin Core white paper. And in 2008, nobody saw what was going to happen in the next 10 years. Over the next 10 years, every government, like I said, every company, every bank picked up on this guy's mistake, his joke. Maybe he was joking. Maybe he wasn't even serious. Who knows? And this technology has captured the imagination of every world leader, politician, central banker, CEO, and there are billions, hundreds of billions of dollars currently going into research on blockchain technology. The amount of job postings for blockchain in the last 12 months have 4x'd. That's a 500% increase. Why? Why is this such a fascinating technology? Is because it allows every single participant in the network to validate the integrity of the entire transaction history. In other words, the way that Satoshi Nakamoto configured the validation functions forces every single transaction to go through a very rigorous peer-to-peer algorithm that invariably validates its integrity. See, he changed the way money is dealt forever. It's no stopping it. It's like trying to stop the internet. There's no chance. It's too late. Then, in 2011, there was a kid. Go research this kid. There was a kid. He grew up 1.5 hours away from me. I was born in Toronto, Canada. He was born 1.5 hours away from me. He was studying computer science at the University of Waterloo. Very good school, very good school. And he found out about Bitcoin. Remember, at this time, Bitcoin was only 4 years old, 5 years old. Nobody knew about it. I think it was worth probably $5, 250 rupees at the time. Remember, today it's worth 7 lakhs, just giving you guys a little bit of a hint. It wouldn't have been too bad to buy some. So, what this kid do. He was just like you, third year computer science student. And he found out about Bitcoin. Now this was in 2011, this was very early. And he became obsessed. He lost his mind. He couldn't stop thinking about the impact that this technology was going to have. And so, you know what he did? Like any good theoretician, he started writing articles. He started doing research. And there was a magazine. You guys know what a magazine is? Newspaper? There was a magazine online at the time called Bitcoin Magazine. And this kid, at 21 years old, emailed them and said, hey, can I write for you? I'm interested in Bitcoin. And they said, sure. We will pay you 4 Bitcoin for every article, because at the time it was only worth 250 rupees. To do the math today on what that would have been worth had he kept it. Not bad. See that crow? He agrees with me. So, now, 1 year after he starts writing, he's still in computer science school, right? He's become obsessed. He then submits a proposal to the Bitcoin Foundation, which is an open source foundation. Linux, IBM, they're all part of it. And he says, hey, I love Bitcoin. I've been writing these articles. I want to propose an update. At 21 years old, he says, I want to propose an update. And he said, we should take Bitcoin and make it Turing complete. Does anyone here know what a Turing complete system is? Nobody? Turing complete. A Turing complete system means something that will loop and loop. It is a way Alan Turing had configured a computation system that allows you to get out of recursive computation functions and essentially make your protocol multi-useful. In other words, Android OS is Turing complete. This watch is Turing complete. It is capable of being programmed to do multiple things, run multiple applications. Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin is only capable of doing one application, peer-to-peer money transfer. This kid said, let's add a level of virtualization and make it Turing complete so we can use the same technology to do anything. And you know what the Bitcoin Foundation said? Yeah, right. What do you know? You are a 21-year-old kid. You have no idea what you're talking about. And do you know what he said? Sure, I'm going to start my own. And he dropped out of university and started something called Ethereum. And today, Ethereum is worth $70 billion. And it is the most important cryptocurrency on planet Earth. And he built a Turing-complete blockchain that lets any developer in this room write your own blockchain app using an abstracted version of JavaScript called Solidity. And that technology called Ethereum has inspired thousands of developers around the world to write their own protocol application using Ethereum as the tech stack. That kid now is about 24 years old. His name is Vitalik Buterin. He's a Russian guy, actually Canadian guy, but his parents are Russian. Vitalik Buterin. He is now courted by every prime minister on planet Earth that want to use Ethereum as the fundamental consensus algorithm to underwrite future transactional systems. The moral of the story, the guy or girl that's going to build the next Bitcoin or the next Ethereum could be sitting beside you. So look around and make sure you're nice to everyone, because they could become very powerful one day. It is an incredible technology. Limitations are endless. It is 2020, just like it was 2000. Nobody used Amazon.com in 2000. Every single uses Amazon.com in 2020. Nobody uses Ethereum or Bitcoin, relatively speaking, in 2020. Just watch. This is the Web 4.0. They would actually call it Web 4.0. The new web architecture has been written today. The new application protocols have been written today. And you guys are going to graduate next year with an option. Are you going to graduate ignorant on the most important technology of the 21st century? Or are you going to graduate an expert? Do you know how long it takes to become an expert in blockchain? Very little time. Do you know why? It's brand new. Since it's brand new, nobody understands it. If you even learn a little bit, you know more than everyone else. Just after you listen to this, you are in the top 1% of knowledgeable people on blockchain in TN. I assure you of that. Imagine if you dedicated your mental capacity, not your money, your mental capacity, and said, I am going to master this technology. I am going to be a part of this revolutionary technology. What this will do for your career is unconscionable, unimaginable. Trust me, whether your goal is to make money, or your goal is to work in an exciting field, or your goal is to build something that's yours one day, this is the platform. It is more important than the internet, more consequential than the telegraph, more impactful than any communication system that has ever been built. And I wanted to give you guys somewhat of an introduction. Trust me, what I talked about today is nothing compared to what you should go and learn. You're young, your minds are sharp, you have a very long future ahead of you, and trust me, you have lots of time on your hands. I assure you of that. What you must do is realize when the world is changing. That will be the greatest gift you give yourself. To give you some context on what we do, we built something called the Nvest. The parent company that I founded is called Nvest Group. It is an investor of cryptocurrency companies all over the world. We founded the world's first cryptocurrency bank in Canada, all the things that they said. I don't care about any of that. I came to India and I built something called the Nvest campus in Bangalore. It is the largest, in 1 year it has become the largest blockchain incubation facility in the country. Do you know why? Because there are none. I'm the only one. So that makes it easy to become the largest. We see an opportunity here. It's unprecedented. Don't believe me, just go on Indeed.com and type in jobs, and you will see what I'm talking about. At the Nvest campus, there's currently about 100 developers working on very advanced blockchain systems. We need 500 more. We probably need 10,000 more. We can't find them. They're nowhere to be found. Trust me. I looked everywhere. They don't exist. So what we have launched is a certification program with Ethereum that takes any developer that has basic web development skills and makes them proficient in JavaScript, makes them proficient in blockchain level 1, blockchain level 2. And that is called Nvest Labs. The campus, the training facility for that just got launched in Bangalore. You can go check it out, NvestLabs.com. All I care about is making sure that you guys are aware of what's happening. If you do not listen, no problem. Trust me, you will remember this speech. I have given you something today that you could use to change your career, or you can watch your friends and your peers change their career. It requires nothing except interest. It requires nothing except mental commitment. You are already 3 years in to a computer science degree. You've already spent the money. You've already spent the time. Might as well graduate with a competitive advantage. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Hey guys. So hopefully you guys have learned something very important and have taken away at least an idea that there is something important here to talk about, something here to research and learn. And I hope that you guys took away the big concepts of what Sharpen has talked about. And I want to give you guys a gift to those that were listening and paying attention. So who wants to earn some Bitcoin, or in the equivalence of rupee, I'll be giving about 700 rupees to 5 students that can answer these 5 questions, each of which he has answered. Okay, this is like a pop quiz that you guys were not expecting. So it has more than just a good mark, it has some money prize to it. You guys ready? Okay, let's, so each question, 700 rupees, okay? If you think you know the answer, I want you to raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you, okay? Ready? First question, who invented Bitcoin? Who invented Bitcoin?
Stand up.
Oh, okay. So we have a winner there. Make sure to get his 700 rupees to that guy over there who was paying attention or Googled it really fast, okay? Second question, which was also answered, what is the relationship of Bitcoin to the blockchain? What is that relationship of, oh, okay, we have an answer. If you will stand up.
Bitcoin வந்து daily manipulate ஆகிட்டே இருக்கும் சார். Bitcoin will manipulate every day based upon the marketing values, like the stock, what we say, share market, like that, sir. Stock values.
Yeah, we're still looking for an answer of what is the relationship. This is a very important question because this tells me that you guys need to listen more closely and truly understand this technology. Please, if you can answer this question, I think you will go home with the right understanding of what Sharpen has talked about. If you don't know the answer, when I explain the answer, you really want to pay attention because this could change your life, okay? What is the relationship of this digital currency called Bitcoin to the thing that's called the blockchain? Can anyone have an attempt at answering this before I explain that answer? Okay, what was that?
Transferring funds, I guess.
Okay, I will one more attempt.
Let's see if you can. பிட்காயின் வந்து கிரிப்டோ கரன்சி மூலியமாக பண்ணுவாங்க. இது வந்து பீர் டு பீர் பிளாக் செயின் வந்து பீர் டு பீர் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர். இது ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்காக பிளாக்கிங் இது ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணுறது.
Okay, that is the closest answer. So out of his attempt of being a hero, I will give him 700 rupees in Bitcoin, okay? Now, more importantly, forget the 700 rupees, is all of you guys, I'm going to give you a gift. That gift is the understanding of Bitcoin and blockchain, what that relationship is. Who uses email? If you use email, raise your hand. Okay, that's everyone. Who uses the internet? Okay, what is the relationship of the email to the internet? What is that relationship? One is an entire network of different apps and functions and of a communications or a validation network, and the other is simply one application. Bitcoin is an application on an underlying technology called the blockchain. The blockchain has so many different other applications other than money, such as security. If you understand this, and if you're programmers, you can now begin to play with the blockchain and invent like Vitalik invented Ethereum, or there's so many different programs just as you would use C++ or Python or any sort of coding language, you can now invent new things on the blockchain. So understand that relationship because it may be something that helps you to launch a new career in not just the old language of programming like JavaScript, which is, to be honest with you, extremely outdated and soon may not have a career. But the blockchain is the new technology, new language of programming. So please understand that the Bitcoin, which is extremely big, runs on the network or the validation system of the blockchain. If you remove Bitcoin, blockchain still would change the world.
யாராவது ஷேர்ஸ்ல உங்களுடைய 100 ரூபாய் இருக்கீங்களா? ஆனா 1 லட்சம் ரூபாய் கொடுத்து போன் அதோட நம்ம இன்னைக்கு ரெடியா இருக்கோம். சரியா தப்பா? ஐபோன் மேக்ஸ் 3 வந்தவங்க நான் வந்தது ரெடி எத்தனை பேர் லைன்ல நிப்பீங்க? இப்ப நிக்க மாட்டோம். See, even some people are going to be by. Am I right? சரி, நான் இந்த விஷயத்துக்கு வரேன். நாங்க யார்? நாங்க எதுக்காக இங்க வந்தோம்? எங்களோட தாட் என்ன? நாங்க எதுக்காக இங்க வரணும்? இன்னைக்கு இந்தியாவில் பிளாக்செயினை பத்தி அவ்வளோ நாலேஜ் இல்லை. IBM, Wipro, Cognizant, Dell, Amazon இவன் எல்லாம் ஆளை தேடிட்டு இருக்கான். பிளாக்செயின் டெவலப்பர்ஸ் தேடிட்டு இருக்கான். எத்தனை பேர் ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்ட் டெவலப்பர், பேக் எண்ட் டெவலப்பர் நிறைய பேர் வேலை செய்யறான். ஈவன் எங்க கம்பெனில லாஸ்ட் இயர் பாஸ் அவுட் 80,000 ரூபாய் சம்பளம். நான் போய் சொன்னாங்க நீங்க கேளுங்க, 80,000 ரூபாய் சம்பளம். How much they getting money and Karthik?
Too much money. But I think it's like 8 lakhs.
Last year pass out. Last year pass out அவங்க ரெண்டு பேருமே பிளாக்செயின் டெக்னாலஜி. ஈவன் அவங்க ரெண்டு பேருமே எங்க கிட்ட வந்து ட்ரைனிங் எடுத்துட்டாங்க. அந்த ரெண்டு பேரும் எங்க கிட்ட ட்ரைனிங் எடுத்தவங்க இன்னைக்கு எங்க கம்பெனில பிளேஸ்மென்ட் ஆகி 80,000 சம்பளம் வாங்குறாங்க. உங்களால முடியுமா முடியாதா? உங்களாலே முடியும். உங்களால முடியும். அத முதல்ல நம்புங்க. நீங்க வந்து MLM கான்செப்ட் பத்தி நாங்க வரல. நான் ஒரு பொருள் இருக்கிறேன் நீங்க ரெண்டு வாங்கி சொல்றதுக்கு நாங்க வரல. நானும் இதே ஊர் தான். என்னோட சொந்த ஊர் இங்க பக்கத்துல தான் நெமிலி. நெமிலில இருந்து தான் வரேன். ரொம்ப தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும் நிறைய பேர். ரொம்ப ரொம்ப உள்ள இருந்து வரணும். எனக்கே இவ்வளவு நாலேஜ் இருக்கு. சிட்டில இருந்து எத்தனை பசங்க வரீங்க? நல்ல இன்டர்நெட்டை இப்பதான் பாக்குறேன். நீங்களாம் இன்டர்நெட் பொறுத்த 10 வயசுல 12 வயசுல பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டீங்க. உங்க மைண்ட வேற எங்கேயோ செலவு பண்றதுக்கு இன்டர்நெட்ல தேடுங்க. பிளாக்செயினை பத்தி தேடுங்க. உங்களுக்கு தெரியலையா? சார் இருக்க கதை சார் இருக்க தேடுங்க. அவர்கிட்ட உங்களுக்கு நிறைய இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கொடுப்பாரு. லாஸ்ட் பேசி முடிச்சிட்டீங்களா? ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் பேசலாமா? இல்ல நீங்க இங்க வந்து பேசுங்க, நான் உட்கார்றேன். நான் எனக்காக கத்தல, சத்தியமா எனக்காக கத்தல. எனக்கு தேவையே இல்லை. நான் கத்துறோன்னு அவசியமே இல்லை. எப்படியா இருந்தாலும் இன்னைக்கு ஈவினிங் போனாலும் எனக்கு ஒரு 5 6 10 எனக்கு சம்பளம் கிடைச்சிடும். நான் வாங்கி ஜாலியாக வீட்டுக்கு போயிடுவேன். அப்படியே 50,000 60,000 சம்பளம் வாங்குறேன். நான் இங்க கத்த வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லை. எனக்கு எப்போ அந்த கேமரா ஸ்டாண்ட் எப்போ நாங்கள் வச்சுட்டு இவங்க என்ன பேசுறாங்க கேட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்கலாம். ஆனா என்னோட இன்னோவேஷன்ல இந்த காலேஜுக்கு உள்ள எங்க கம்பெனி உள்ள வராச்சு. நான் போய் பெக் பண்ணேன், தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள வாங்க, காலேஜஸ் நிறைய இருக்கு, எங்களாலே முடியும், தமிழ் பசங்க சாதிப்பானு எங்களுக்கு தெரியும், வாங்க நான் தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. முடியுமா? முடியும் தானே? I play our video. We have a campus in Bengaluru, Jayanagar, 4th block. நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரே ஒரு பிரச்சனை அது இங்கிலீஷ் தெரியல. நம்ம ரைட் யாருக்குமே டக்குன்னு புரிய மாட்டேன், டக்குன்னு ஈஸியாக கேட்ச் பண்ண மாட்டேன். நான் திரும்ப திரும்ப சொல்கிறேன், நெட்டில் வேறு எதுலையும் பார்க்குறதுக்கு டெய்லி ஒரு ½ யூடியூப்பில் அவுட்டோர் இங்கிலீஷ் கற்றுக்கலாமா? ½ ஒரே ஒரு ½ செலவு பண்ண முடியுமா? நீங்கள் செலவு பண்ணிட்டு வெளியே வாங்க, உங்களுக்கு 40,000 ரூபாய் சம்பளத்தோட வேலை நான் தரேன். உங்களோட ப்ரிசிஷியஸ் டைமை இதுக்காக செலவு பண்ணணும்னு நான் கேட்குறேன். ஒரு 2 minutes. Am I right? சரி, நான் ஒரு விஷயத்துக்கு வரேன். நாங்கள் யார்? நாங்கள் எதுக்காக இங்கே வந்தோம்? எங்களோட தாட் என்ன? நாங்கள் எதுக்காக இங்கே வரணும்? இன்னைக்கு இந்தியாவில் பிளாக் செயினை பற்றி அவ்வளோ நாலேஜ் இல்லை. Amazon இவங்க நாலு பேர் பிளாக் செயின் டெவலப்பர்ஸ் எத்தனை பேர் ஃப்ரண்ட் டெவலப்பர், பேக் டெவலப்பர் நிறைய பேர் வருது. ஈவன் எங்கள் கம்பெனியில் லாஸ்ட் இயர் பாஸ் ஆகும் 80,000 ரூபா சம்பளம். நான் போய் சொன்னேன் 80,000 ரூபாய் பவர் எனக்கு மணி ரெண்டாவது லாஸ்ட் ஒரு பாஸ் லாஸ்ட் இயர் பாஸ் ஆகும் பிளாக் செயின் டெக்னாலஜி. ஈவன் அவங்க 2 பேருமே எங்கிட்ட ட்ரைனிங் எடுத்துட்டாங்க. அந்த 2 பேர் எங்ககிட்ட ட்ரைனிங் எடுத்தவங்க இன்னைக்கு எங்கள் கம்பெனியில் பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் ஆகி எப்போ சம்பளம் வாங்கலாம்? உங்களால் முடியுமா? முடியாது. உங்களாலே முடியும். உங்களால முடியும். அதை முதல்ல நீங்கள் வந்து MLM கான்செப்ட் நான் ஒரு பொருள் இருக்கிறேன், நீங்கள் இங்கே வாங்கின்னு சொல்லுறேன். நானும் இதே ஊர், என்னோட சொந்த ஊர் பேசி முடிச்சிட்டீங்களா? ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் பேசலாமா? இல்லை நீங்கள் இங்கே வந்து பேசுங்க, நான் உட்காருறேன். நான் எனக்காக கத்தலை, சத்தியமாக எனக்காக கத்தலை. எனக்கு தேவையே இல்லை, நான் கத்துறோன்னு அவசியமே இல்லை. எப்படியா இருந்தாலும் இன்னைக்கு ஈவினிங் போனாலும் எனக்கு ஒரு 6,000 10,000 எனக்கு சம்பளம் வச்சிடும். நான் வாங்கி ஜாலியாக வீட்டுக்கு போயிடுவேன். அப்படியே நான் 50,000 60,000 சம்பளம் வாங்குறேன். நான் இங்கே கத்த வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லை. எனக்கு எப்போ அந்த கேமரா ஸ்டாண்ட் எப்போ நாங்கள் வச்சுட்டு இவங்க என்ன பேசுகிறத கேட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்கலாம். ஆனால் என்னோட இன்னோவேஷனில் இந்த காலேஜுக்கு உள்ள எங்கள் கம்பெனி உள்ள வராச்சு. நான் போய் பெக் பண்ணேன், தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள வாங்க, காலேஜஸ் நிறைய இருக்கு, எங்களாலே முடியும், தமிழ் பசங்க சாதிப்பானு எங்களுக்கு தெரியும், வாங்க, நான் தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. முடியுமா? முடியும் தானே? See, I play one video. We have a campus in Bengaluru, Jayanagar, 4th block.
Thank you.